My name is Mara Chen, and I haven't spent a Christmas away from my family since I was born. 32 Christmases. 32 years of traditions. Mom's cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning, Dad's elaborate light displays, opening presents by the fireplace. Mom died when I was 20. 12 years ago. And everything changed. Dad remarried within 18 months. Linda, blonde, bubbly, 15 years younger than him, with 2 kids from a previous marriage, Brandon, now 16, and Kylie, 14. I tried to be welcoming. I tried to be the good daughter who understood Dad deserved happiness after Mom's death. But Linda made it clear from day one, I was a reminder of the past. An obstacle to her new perfect family. Still, I showed up. Every holiday, every birthday, every Sunday dinner. Because that's what daughters do. This Christmas Eve, I arrived at 5 p.m. with gifts, expensive ones. A new tablet for Brandon, designer boots for Kylie, a cashmere scarf for Linda, and a vintage watch I'd hunted down for Dad. Mara. Dad opened the door, but his smile seemed forced. You're here. Of course I'm here. It's Christmas Eve. I stepped inside and immediately felt the temperature drop. Not literally, the house was warm, decorated beautifully with white lights and silver ornaments. But emotionally, ice. Linda was on the couch in a red cocktail dress, wine glass in hand. Brandon and Kylie were on their phones. None of them looked up. Merry Christmas, I said, setting down the gift bag. Linda hummed, not looking at me. Kevin, is dinner almost ready? Kevin. She called my dad Kevin now, not honey or any term of endearment. Just his name, like a command. Dad disappeared into the kitchen. I sat in the armchair, my usual spot, and tried to make conversation. How was your semester, Brandon? Fine. Kylie, I heard you made the volleyball team? Yeah. Monosyllables. Like talking to walls. I pulled out my phone, checking work emails, trying to fill the awkward silence. Linda suddenly stood up. Kevin. Can you come here? Dad emerged from the kitchen, looking nervous. What's wrong? I need to talk to you. And Mara. Her voice was cold. About something important. My stomach dropped. What's going on? Linda crossed her arms. Kevin and I have been discussing our family structure. And we've realized something, you don't fit anymore. Excuse me? You're not really part of this family, Mara. You're from Kevin's first marriage. Brandon and Kylie and we're his real family now. His current family. And it's time we acknowledged that. I looked at Dad, waiting for him to shut this down. To defend me. He looked at the floor. Dad? My voice cracked. Mara, Linda has a point, he said quietly. You're an adult. You have your own life. Maybe it's time to create some distance. Distance? It's Christmas Eve. Exactly, Linda jumped in. It's our family's Christmas. Not yours. You don't have kids, you're not married, you don't really belong at family events anymore. Brandon and Kylie were watching now, interested. This is my family, I said, my voice shaking. This is my dad. Was your dad, Linda corrected. Now he's my husband and their father. That's his priority now. Not his adult daughter who refuses to move on from her dead mother. The words hit like a slap. Linda, that's enough, Dad said, but weakly. Not like he meant it. No, Kevin. We agreed. We're not doing this anymore. She needs to leave. Leave? I couldn't process what was happening. You're kicking me out? Yes. Linda's voice was matter-of-fact. Get out. You're not welcome here anymore. This is our house, our family, our Christmas. You don't fit. Dad stood there, silent, not contradicting her. Dad. I turned to him, desperate. Are you really going to let her do this? On Christmas Eve? He looked up, and I saw something that broke me, relief. Like he'd been wanting this but hadn't had the courage to do it himself. Mara, you're 32. You have your own apartment, your own career. You don't need us anymore. I don't need you. My voice rose. I'm your daughter. You're my adult daughter. Linda's kids need me now. They're young, they're growing up. They need a present father. And having you around, constantly reminding everyone of Patricia, of my old life, it's not healthy. Linda smiled triumphantly. So yes, Mara. Get out. This is our house. Our family. You don't belong here. Brandon actually laughed. Finally. She's so awkward at dinner anyway. Something inside me snapped. Not broke, crystallized. Your house, I repeated slowly. Yes, Linda said firmly. Now leave before I call the police. I pulled out my phone, opened my Files app, and found the folder I'd labeled Important Documents. Dad, I said, my voice eerily calm. Do you remember 2012? He frowned. What? 2012, when you and Linda wanted to buy this house. Mara, this isn't the time. You'd just gotten married. Linda wanted a bigger place for the blended family. But you couldn't get approved for the mortgage. Remember why? His face went pale. Your credit score was tanked from medical debt. From Mom's cancer treatments. The bank said no. Mara. So I helped you. I was 20. Fresh out of college with perfect credit. I'd never missed a payment on anything. And you asked me to co-sign. I pulled up the PDF and turned the screen toward them. I didn't just co-sign, Dad. I'm the primary borrower. Look. Right there. Mara Elizabeth Chen, primary borrower. Kevin Chen, co-borrower. Linda's smirk vanished. The bank approved the mortgage because of my credit score, my income, my financial history. Legally, this house is as much mine as it is yours. More, actually, since I'm the primary name. That was 12 years ago, Dad started. And I'm still on the mortgage. Still on the title. Still legally responsible for this debt. Did you know that if you miss payments, it affects my credit? Did you know I get notified of every single transaction? You said you'd take your name off. You said you'd refinance. You never did. So my name has been on this house for 12 years. I've been legally liable for a $450,000 mortgage while you've been paying the monthly bills and building equity. I pulled up another document. Here's the title. 2 names. Yours and mine. Linda isn't even on it. Linda's face went from smug to horrified. Kevin, is this true? I forgot about that, Dad stammered. You forgot? I laughed, a harsh sound. You forgot that I'm legally part owner of the house you're kicking me out of? Now wait, Dad held up his hands. You can't just. Can't just what? Enforce my legal rights? You're right. I probably can't kick you out tonight. But I can do other things. Like demand my share of the equity. Or force a sale. Or refinance and take you off the mortgage, making it entirely mine. You wouldn't, Linda hissed. Why not? You just told me I'm not family. That I don't belong in your house. So why would I let my name stay on the deed for a house I'm not welcome in? The room was dead silent except for the crackling fireplace. Dad sank onto the couch. Mara, please. Let's talk about this rationally. Rationally? You just kicked me out on Christmas Eve. Your wife told me I'm not real family. Your stepkids laughed at me. Where exactly was the rational part? We were upset. No. You meant it. Linda's been working toward this for years, and you finally gave her what she wanted. But you both forgot one crucial detail. I'm not just your daughter. I'm your mortgage co-signer. Linda was pacing now, her face red. Kevin, fix this. You said she wasn't on anything anymore. You said we owned this house outright. We do own it. No, we don't, I corrected. You and I own it. Linda owns nothing. She's not on the deed. Not on the mortgage. Nothing. She lives here because you do. But legally? She has zero claim to this house. Linda looked like she might explode. I've been paying for renovations. I paid for the kitchen remodel. And that was your choice. Doesn't give you legal ownership. Dad stood up. Mara, what do you want? What do I want? I felt tears building but pushed them back. I wanted to spend Christmas with my family. I wanted my dad to stand up for me instead of letting his wife erase me. I wanted to matter. You do matter. Then why did you let her kick me out? He had no answer. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice steady despite the pain. I'm leaving. Not because Linda ordered me to, but because I choose to. But first thing Monday morning, I'm calling a real estate attorney. And we're going to discuss my options. What options? Linda demanded. For starters, removing Dad from the mortgage and making this entirely my house. Or forcing a sale and taking my 50% of the proceeds. Or demanding rent from you since you're living in a house I'm legally responsible for. You can't do that. Yes, Linda. I can. Because unlike you, I'm actually on the deed. I grabbed my coat and purse. Left the gifts on the floor, let them have the tablets and boots. I didn't care anymore. Mara, wait, Dad called. I turned at the door. Merry Christmas, Dad. Enjoy your real family in my house. I walked out into the cold December night, got in my car, and drove away from the only home I'd ever known. I spent Christmas Eve in my apartment, alone, researching real estate law and eating Chinese takeout. Turns out, my legal position was stronger than I'd thought. I was the primary borrower on the mortgage. My name was on the title. And according to several attorney websites, I could absolutely force a partition sale, a court-ordered sale where proceeds are split between co-owners. At 11 p.m., my phone rang. Dad. I let it go to voicemail. He called 4 more times. Then started texting. Mara, please call me. We need to talk about this. Linda is very upset. Can we please resolve this calmly? I'm your father. You can't just threaten to take my house. That last one made me laugh. My house. He'd finally admitted it. Christmas morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 23 texts from Dad. 3 voicemails from Linda, each progressively angrier. Then, surprisingly, a text from Brandon, this is messed up. My mom is freaking out. Good, I thought. Let her freak out. At 10 a.m., someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. Dad, looking haggard in yesterday's clothes. I almost didn't let him in. But curiosity won. 5 minutes, I said, opening the door. He came in, looking around my small apartment. Mara. 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm sorry. Linda was out of line. She shouldn't have said those things. But you agreed with her. I was trying to keep the peace. By throwing me out? He sank onto my couch. She's been pressuring me for months. Saying you're too involved in our lives, that you won't let me move on from Patricia, that Brandon and Kylie feel like outsiders because I talk about you too much. You barely mention me. I know. But Linda's insecure. She thinks you're judging her parenting, her relationship with me, everything. And last night, she gave me an ultimatum, her or you. And you chose her. He looked at his hands. I chose wrong. Yes, you did. But Mara, you can't take the house. Please. We've built a life there. Brandon and Kylie's school district, Linda's friends, our whole life. Did you think about any of that before you kicked me out? I wasn't thinking clearly. No, Dad. You were thinking very clearly. You were thinking that Linda's happiness matters more than mine. That her kids matter more than your own daughter. That erasing me from the family would be easier than standing up to her. He started crying. Actually crying. I can't lose the house. We can't afford to move. Linda will leave me if. Then maybe she should leave you. He looked up, shocked. Dad, listen to yourself. You're begging me not to exercise my legal rights over a house I helped you buy, because your wife might leave you if she doesn't get her way. Do you hear how messed up that is? You don't understand the pressure. I understand that you chose a woman who demanded you erase your own daughter over the daughter who literally made your house possible. He had no response. I'm calling a lawyer Monday, I said. I want off that mortgage. Either you refinance and pay me my equity share, or we sell the house and split the proceeds. I can't refinance. My credit is still bad. And we don't have liquid cash to buy you out. Then we sell. Mara, please. You kicked me out of my family, Dad. Why would I leave my name on your debt? Because I'm your father. And I'm your daughter. But that didn't matter last night. He left looking older than when he arrived. Monday morning, I called a real estate attorney named Patricia Monroe, yes, named after my mom. I took it as a sign. She reviewed my documents. This is very clear-cut. You're the primary borrower, you're on the title, and you have every right to either demand buyout or force sale. What's the timeline? If they agree to refinance and buy you out, it could happen in 60 to 90 days. If they refuse and you force a partition sale, you're looking at 6 to 12 months of court proceedings. And how much is my share worth? She pulled up property values. The house was purchased for $450,000 in 2012. Current market value is approximately $725,000. If you've paid off roughly $180,000 of the mortgage over 12 years, the equity is around $455,000. Your 50% share would be $227,500. I did the math. That was a down payment on my own house. A real house, not a rental apartment. Send them a letter, I said. They have 60 days to refinance and pay me out, or I'm filing for partition sale. Consider it done. The letter arrived at Dad's house on Wednesday. I know because he called me immediately, panicked. $227,500. Mara, we don't have that kind of money. Then refinance and take out the equity. I told you, I can't refinance. That's not my problem. What happened to you? You used to be so sweet, so understanding. I used to be a doormat. I'm done with that. Your mother would be ashamed of you. That hit hard. But I pushed through. No, Dad. Mom would be ashamed of you for letting your new wife erase your daughter. He hung up. Over the next month, I got increasingly desperate messages. From Dad, please, we can work something out. Don't do this. From Linda, you're a spiteful, vindictive woman. This is elder abuse. From Brandon, my mom cries every day because of you. I blocked Brandon. Ignored Linda. Only responded to Dad once. You have 53 days to refinance. After that, I'm filing for court-ordered sale. At the 40-day mark, Dad showed up at my apartment again. We found a lender, he said. They'll refinance, but only if you agree to $200,000 instead of $227,500. Why would I agree to less? Because the appraisal came in lower than expected. And we need to afford the new mortgage payment. I thought about it. $200,000 was still life-changing money. And getting my name off that mortgage meant freedom from Dad and Linda forever. Fine. $200,000. But I want it in writing, and I want the refinance completed in 30 days. Deal. 28 days later, I sat in a title company office signing paperwork. Dad and Linda sat across the table, not making eye contact. When the notary handed me the cashier's check for $200,000, I felt a weight lift I didn't know I'd been carrying. It's done, the title officer said. Mara is officially off the mortgage and the deed. Kevin and Linda, the house is now solely in your names. Linda grabbed Dad's hand triumphantly. Like she'd won something. But she hadn't. I had. Mara, Dad said as we walked out. Can we fix this? I looked at him, this man who'd raised me, who'd loved my mother, who'd chosen a new wife's comfort over his own daughter's dignity. I don't know, I said honestly. You'd have to want to fix it. Not because I'm forcing you by owning part of your house, but because you actually value me as your daughter. I do value you. Then prove it. Not with words. With actions. I walked away from the title company, got in my car, and drove to a real estate agent's office. I'm looking to buy a house, I told her. I have a $200,000 down payment. 3 months later, I closed on a beautiful 3-bedroom Craftsman in a neighborhood I'd always loved. Hardwood floors, a working fireplace, a garden I could plant in spring. It was mine. Entirely, completely mine. I invited friends over for a housewarming party. My boss came. My college roommate. My neighbors from the apartment building. I didn't invite Dad. He found out about the house through Facebook photos. He texted, "Your new place looks beautiful. I'm happy for you." I didn't respond. Then, 3 weeks before Christmas, exactly 1 year after being kicked out, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Dad. Mara. I've been in therapy for 6 months. Linda and I both have. The therapist asked me to write you a letter, not to send necessarily, but to process what I did. I'm sending it anyway because you deserve to know, I was wrong. Completely, unforgivably wrong. I let Linda convince me that moving on from your mother meant erasing you. That creating a new family meant destroying the old one. That keeping her happy was more important than honoring my daughter. I kicked you out on Christmas Eve. I let my wife call you an outsider. I chose her ultimatum over your presence. And then, when you enforced your legal rights to the house, I acted like you were the villain. Like you were the one being unreasonable. But you were just protecting yourself. From me. From us. From people who treated you like you were disposable. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know, I'm sorry. I see now what I did. And I'm ashamed. Linda and I are separated. Not because of the house situation, but because the therapist helped me see how she isolated me from you, from my friends, from anyone who remembered Patricia. How she made me choose constantly between her comfort and everyone else's well-being. I chose wrong every time. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. But if you don't, I understand. I love you. I'm sorry I forgot how to show it. Dad. I read it 3 times. Cried through all of them. Then I did something I hadn't planned to do. I called him. Mara? He sounded shocked. I got your letter. I meant every word. I know. I took a breath. Dad, I'm not ready to forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. I understand. But I'm willing to try coffee. Just us. No Linda, no stepkids. Just you and me. He started crying. Thank you. Thank you, Mara. Once a month. We'll see how it goes. Once a month is more than I deserve. We met for coffee the following Saturday. It was awkward, painful, filled with long silences. But it was a start. Over the next year, we slowly rebuilt something. Not the relationship we'd had before, that was gone forever, but something new. More honest. With clearer boundaries. Dad eventually divorced Linda. She'd refused to continue therapy and gave him another ultimatum: stop seeing me or lose her. He chose me. It didn't fix everything. The wound was still there. But at least he was trying. 2 years after that Christmas Eve, Dad came to my house for Christmas dinner. Just the two of us. We cooked together, put up a small tree, exchanged modest gifts. And when he raised his glass for a toast, he said, "To Mara, who taught me that family is a verb, not a noun. You have to actively choose people, actively love them, actively fight for them." I forgot that. Thank you for reminding me. I clinked my glass against his. To second chances. To second chances. It wasn't perfect. Some things can't be fully healed. But it was real. And I had something I'd never had before, a home that was entirely mine. Built on my own terms. With my own money. In my own name. No one could kick me out of this house. Because I'd learned the most important lesson: the family who treats you as disposable doesn't deserve access to your life. My name is Mara Chen. My parents kicked me out on Christmas Eve, but they forgot I co-signed the house 12 years ago. I got $200,000 and bought my own home. And I learned that sometimes, the people who reject you do you the biggest favor of your life. Because they force you to build something better on your own.